welcome to our 130th episode of Gorilla Radio. Had a nice, fun pre-show. We need to start charging for those. We can make millions.
Man, they might have to get watered down a little bit. A little bit more aggressive. I take a little bit more of a stance. I know some of the guys give me a hard time because I waffle sometimes. I'm not in the prediction business as much as I used to be.
Me neither. After my performance in the semi-states, I'm gonna do them. I'm gonna win state. I'm just gonna come out. You know, it's just like, yeah, performing right. I'm peaking, or I'm tapering off, looking to peak for state and win the pick'ems there for the second time. I think second time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's crazy when you look at those pick'ems results all the time because a lot of the guys are like repeats. Like you see a lot of repeats in there, which is pretty amazing.
Yeah, especially with the number of people that do it, and it's not easy. It is not easy. So, yeah, it's been a fun week. We are just real close. I mean, we're leaving tomorrow night for state. Oh, man, those brackets are bad. I did not know that.
I'm probably going to leave Friday morning and try to wait out this snowstorm. The next snowstorm, maybe 3 inches, maybe 14 inches. I should have went into being a weatherman. They're less right than what some of these guys feel the rankings are.
Yes. Very good point. Yeah, shoot. I messed up my brackets. No one said anything to me. Oh, crap. Just trying to get those loaded up. But anyway, we have a little bit of news and stuff for today.
Good news.
Yeah, not good news to start off, but might as well talk about it a little bit. Brayton Lee's out for the season. Broke his elbow, basically, from what I have gathered. I saw that he was having surgery today, so obviously wish him a speedy recovery. And he was wearing a 800-pound gorilla shirt, so obviously he's going into surgery with help of the gorilla. So that's always good. And
yeah, he was having an awesome year too, man. Awesome family, great kid. You hate to see that.
Yep. So hopefully he's back sooner than later, and hopefully everything went well with the surgery. I know his dad sent me a message today showing me that he was pretty relaxed and kind of getting, obviously first real major injury. He's had probably a gazillion stitches. And at the Scholastic Duels one year, he busted his eye, got stitches and came back. So he's pretty tough. So that's funny when you say. Oh. So and then at 106 there was a change. Donnie Feeler is out, and replacing him is Cameron Meyer. So Meyer will go against Nathan Smith. Meyer, pretty tough freshman, so still not an easy match for Nathan Smith. Obviously, he's not two seniors battling out on Friday night now, but still should be a pretty good Friday night match.
Yeah, and you feel bad for Crawford County and Donnie Feeler. You would hope to. He was their first qualifier ever, right? And they returned this year.
Yeah.
That's. I think that's one of those things that just kind of is unfortunate for him.
Yeah.
But that's kind of the world we're in, which sucks. But that's a great opportunity for Cameron Meyer, though.
Yeah, definitely. Freshman coming into the lineup or getting a reprieve, and that's why you have alternates, and it happens every few years. And
Brayton Lee, Nick Krause said who broke their elbow, Brayton.
Yeah. So everyone, you got to be an alternate. You never know when you might get called in. Bad thing is half those teams, like Bloomington South probably has, they have a few guys going, so they're practicing still, but sometimes kind of wonder what those other guys do. I mean, the chances are low, but they're still there. Are the kids practicing? What do you do, I guess, especially if you're a senior, your career came to an end and you're like, I don't want to go to practice, that kind of stuff. So,
Well, I think we talked about it during the semi-state week when we were looking at draws and stuff. Like, how important is it for you to be the alternate, especially like this time where you never know injuries or COVID-related stuff or anything.
Yep.
If you're the alternate, stay close, and you might have a chance.
Yeah, there was one at 80. There's like 70 and 8. There were a couple at down at Evansville, and a couple people got bumped into weird spots. They're thinking, oh, I'm in a good spot, and that's what happened to Purdy a couple years ago. But I don't know the best solution. I mean, you got to go with it like that because to say a kid gets to choose whether he goes up or not. That kind of doesn't sound right.
That's part of the problem, but I don't think it's the root. Like the root is that's such just a random round. Like there's no like rhyme or reason to it. So there's no like changing that doesn't help. Like you can't pick, but like that we don't have any kind of seeding process and it's just random. There's no wrestle back from the ticket round. That's kind of where unfortunate and even less fortunately because I believe McBee kind of from Owen Valley got put in a worse position. Mm-hmm. And it's just one of those things like there's no easy fix. You have to look at the core of the problem, not like what happened at the end of it,
Yeah. So anyway, any other good news tidbits?
No, nothing crazy. It's been a pretty quiet week. I know the board has been going nuts, which is always cool. Like as the season, comes to the end. But man, like you look at like the board activities, like the people like I'm getting all these notifications like this new profile is posting like
yes.
And you get some jokers coming out of the woodwork too. You get guys that are just there to make crazy comments. You got to regulate that. And Saturday Night of State there'll be 100 new names and whatever the controversy is or what thought controversy is, it'll be 100 new posts and it'll be like, dinner fork. And it'll be like, that's not even a name, man. And this is not even a real email.
Yes. Yeah. You always know the ones that are up to trouble when, it's like dinnerfork5@gmail and their name is dinner fork. Like you just made a burner's email because I already know that you're going to have a regular email with your whatever, John Smith @gmail. So you're making this up. Yeah. And you're 99% of the people that have a name that matches that exactly, then it's not their real name is looking for trouble.
Oh yeah. But like obviously on the board, you had the whole ticket thing today and I know everyone was upset and hopefully everyone that wanted tickets got their tickets. I mean, I don't know. Maybe there's a better way to do it. I know second year of having reserve seating, but I think I like not seeing people waiting in line and missing heavyweights. I don't like when people leave for the heavyweights anyways.
Ricky, man, you're ruthless. But yeah, I'm glad that the parents got first dibs, 100%. I like that they let the parents get 4 tickets. They got good seats to watch their kids wrestle. That's awesome. And then I like, knowing where I'm going to sit. I don't have to worry about saving seats for a dozen people because they are in that mass. And it should be, I think once we get used to it, I don't think it'll be a bad thing to do. So.
Nah, anytime there's change, like it's hard for people to accept that. Mm-hmm. The change is always hard. Everyone wants it a certain way, and I don't know. Like I seen everyone posting that the ticket, they were supposed to come on sale last night, and I was online looking at it. It never came up. Stayed up late. Then they went on sale today, and I know some people got bumped out. I don't know, man. I don't know if there's a better way to do it. But like you said, like I'm happy that the parents were able to secure their seats that they wanted. I think I wish they did it a little bit more like NCAA's. I think we talked about that last time, like how they like the Cornell section, they call it the CFCs. Like they'll release it so many to the college, and then the college distributes it, and then which I think is pretty good.
Yeah, I think they do that for the basketball. They'll have sections set up for each team. Or football, I'm sure, on football, the home team, whatever, is on one side, the other team's on the other side. So, yeah, obviously, when you have 2 teams instead of 100, it's a little bit more difficult. But
and I know we had talked about it before, maybe it was off air, about how cool it is to see like Mater Dei and their cheering section. You don't want it to be spread out. You want it to be kind of in a certain area. which is always they always bring a nice crowd.
Yeah. So, yeah, Falcons. I like I said on the Twitter. Sometimes we just mess up our AMs and PMs. Everyone. If you haven't accidentally set your alarm for 6 p.m. instead of 6 a.m., you're a liar. So we're not social distancing the seats there, Danny. There's full capacity as far as I know. I didn't see any capacity restrictions.
I think it's full capacity. I don't think. Yeah. I don't think. That sucks.
Yeah.
You gotta have 9 windows open, man.
Yeah.
You never saved seats before? Come on.
Yeah,
you gotta get someone in there to let you take cuts. I don't know, man. Obviously I'm sure that's a sensitive subject, but I think that overall, like, they'll figure it out. They'll streamline it. I think it'd be better.
Yep. Yeah. So a lot of articles.
I hate having to tell moms and kids that they can't sit here because my friends just went and got drinks.
Yeah.
Watching a kid cry.
Yeah. Cruel Mike. So got a lot of articles and stuff going up on the website. Or who are your losses to? I need 6 losses. I'm just like so close. So if you know where some of these guys, I'll tell you exactly who I'm looking for. I'm gonna shake some people down for not reporting results and stuff. Let's see. Ethan Pop from Harrison, Brady Pittman, Plymouth, Oliver Wilson from North Central, Trey Tobias from Northwood. I know his coach helped me out with a couple of them, but then Peter Nguyen and Bowen Keith from Cowan. Those are the guys I need 1 loss. 1 loss is, and it's probably a duplicate. Most of those have been duplicates. Like, oh, we lost to this guy twice. So, but
East Chicago semi-state trying to hold out. East Chicago and Fort Wayne, huh?
Yeah, only one North Fort Wayne, but you got Gary and yeah. I guess Cowan too. Yep, they're both. I had to find a couple. I had to double check, and so yeah, we got that out there. The who your losses to. The media guide. The media guide's pretty cool. I like that. It's fun to do. Other than when you get it all done and then there's a change. So lost to backup Roncalli at 13. Let's see. Is that the one I have in there? Maybe we have found the last one. Let's see. Yep, wrong one. Let's see if I have that one. That might be what I'm looking for.
Nick wants
I already have Getz. I have Getz, Dickey, Gavin Thompson, Ash, Fry, and William May. So he's not. He would have been like third string at Roncalli.
He said Platico.
Platico? Oh.
I'm sure I didn't get that even close. Yeah, Nick's upset about the lanyards. That is tough, man, because you can transfer them, but I think they want to limit the amount of traffic down there. I don't know. I don't know if that's a good thing or not either.
Yeah, well, the bad thing is before last year they were doing they would do let me see, I'm trying to do 12 things at once. They were doing they'd give you 3 passes. Last year they gave us 2, which I kind of understand. They want to limit traffic and everything. And now they are not. So now they're keeping that up with 0. And yep, that's right. No, he lost to May. He lost to William May there, so I already have that one in there. Anyway, so now they're doing 2, and that's like they did last year. And kids have different coaches, and we have different. It's like, oh, you're not gonna have your defensive backs coach at state for football. So I think there should at least be 3, especially if you want to get a warm-up partner for your kid, maybe another kid or another coach that works out with them. So I don't know.
Yeah.
I
don't know if it's for COVID or not. I have no clue. I have 0 input on the. Actually, the first I found out about the lanyards was on the board, so I had no clue.
Yeah. So.
I do like the lanyards though.
Yep. So and it's a nice little souvenir. I know I have quite a few of them.
Yeah, I like to sign them, hand them out to kids as I'm leaving. No, former teammates. For some reason, like former teammates want to have them.
So, lots of angry people. So, if you want to take your mind off that, you can check out the media guide. One of the cool things I like the streaks. Portage, Cathedral, Penn, and Mater Dei all have over 40 years worth of state qualifiers in a row, which is crazy.
Yeah.
And
longer than I've been alive.
Yeah. And Cathedral will be most likely having 40 straight years of having a state placer. That's pretty old.
Yeah, so they're pretty good.
Yeah, and they have 8 straight years of having a champion, which is likely to increase to 9. That's pretty impressive there too. I mean, yeah, I like that one's kind of one of my favorite ones. Just looking at the streaks and how long schools have had like state qualifiers and placers, and about Modern Day had a little bit, a year where they didn't have any placers. They've only have 8 straight years of having a placer. They should have a few this year again. I know Penn had a really long streak, and they broke that 2 years ago, so they've only had 1 year in a row. So pretty neat to see. Portage had a real long one. I think they had like 30 years or something of having a placer, and last year they didn't have one. So kind of just neat to see kind of things like that, and you can check it out on the website under the download section. There's some nice little tidbits on last time schools had kids on the podium. Lakeland has 2 guys on coming in this year. They haven't had Lakeland and Centerville haven't had state placers since '97 when I graduated high school. 25 years. So.
And if you download it and print it out and bring it to the state finals, Joe will sign it for you.
Yeah, it's only 85, 86 pages. So yeah. So
I can't make any decision. Jason has all the stroke, man. Jason said make a decision. I don't got no kind of pull. Jason's the guy.
Well, there'll be a podium. Johansson, ask Cook. He's like the vice president of
I know.
Indiana wrestling. So do you guys
get to see that guy all day.
Do you talk to him? I saw you guys have a fist bump thing that you guys do at state that I saw a picture of. Is that the last time you talked to him? What?
I know, Jason, get us, man. Are they gonna have a podium, Jason? Come on.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. It's the 2 sessions is weird. Obviously, I'm not a coach. I don't have a wrestler. I'm just a fan there. It doesn't bother me. But I understand like why people could be upset about it. To me, it just shows that we can have that longer day on Friday. So maybe we have a little bit more time. We can do some different things. I don't want to say the W word, but the more that people are taking that whole day and you go from 10 to 10, I think that there's a lot more stuff that you can do other than just split the tournament in half.
Yeah.
Because at some point we're going to be past all this, worldwide pandemic nonsense, and we'll be back to living regular, and we'll have that whole day.
Yeah. Yeah.
I hope they don't give them Matt side again. That's terrible.
Yeah. If not, we'll bring someone in the local area probably has a podium. We can have it outside. Just put it in the lobby at Game Bridge. Put it in the lobby, and we can just have the guys go out there and get their pictures. Yeah.
Ooh. They need a dodgeball Penn and Mishawaka dodgeball tournament. Keep going. They're talking about getting that in that practice room over there. What is that off on the backside?
That they don't have that practice room's not there anymore. I don't think because they did all the.
What about in that parking garage? Don't they have a whole practice building now?
Yeah. So that'll be interesting. Well, a couple years ago, a couple of the Crown Point guys who thought they were good at spike ball tried getting that in and they couldn't. So hopefully you can get some dodgeball.
Oh yeah.
Oh goodness! Can you imagine just like someone hitting like one of the big IHSA people? They're playing dodgeball on the mat and just smoke somebody in the face.
No, I think that Robert probably got pretty good hands. He might catch the thing and toss it back.
Yeah. he's gonna be oh shoot, Adam Sandler in
Happy Gilmore.
Yeah, and Happy Gilmore.
Billy Madison.
Or Billy, yes. I wouldn't. You guys are all dead now. He just starts whipping it.
I think I don't know if Devin Beaver's old enough, but I think Punch Bowl Social also has dodgeball in there, so you can go check that out Saturday night.
That's real good for drinking and dodgeball. That's a great combo. So
that'll be a coaches competition at that point.
Yes.
And a
coaches versus refs. That'd be a good one. I wonder, is Troy any good at dodgeball? He's a big guy. I don't know.
I bet Kenny Hughes could throw it pretty good.
Yeah.
He's pretty athletic there. I think he used to play some football.
Yeah, that'd be fun throwing him at, all the refs. Yeah, I like that idea. Coaches versus refs. So anyway, we're going to get back to brackets. Let's see if I can. Troy's in. Let's talk about some more wrestling. 152 and up. Great weight class to start off with. Number 1, there's 3 undefeated wrestlers. Number 2, this was the perfect weight class. All guys have been or are state ranked that Mike had. So that's
first time ever, man.
Yep. Pretty impressive. So we'll start out up top. Mitchell Betch, Western sophomore, having a really good season. He was a regional qualifier last year. Now he won semi-state 43-0 and won a pretty deep weight. Tice DuPont, Tell City, Tristan Hood from Harrison, and Tyler Jones from Warren Central, 2-time placer. Pretty interesting, what you have, Tyler Jones been there. This is his third time there. Definitely could be in the mix to, ruin some weekends there, but Betts kind of new guy. Hood's been in the mix for a while, so it's kind of an interesting quarter bracket here.
Yeah, Tyler Jones, obviously 2 medals. Anytime you have 2 medals, you're doing pretty good. He had to knock off 2 undefeated guys at Evansville, one in the ticket round, one in the semis, right?
Yeah.
Tristan Hood has not had a good season against Mitchell Betts. Mitchell Betts, I think, has 3, maybe 4 of his losses. 3 of his losses are to Mitchell Betts. Tice DuPont was a freshman sophomore champ. I'm not sure what weight Betts was at, but I know that he's pretty tough. And let's see if he was a freshman sophomore. I don't have it in front of me. But if they're the same weight, that could be one of those things where he was 3rd. They're different weight classes, I believe. But good season for Betts. That was a really good semi-state. I thought 52 was one of the deeper weights at Fort Wayne. And to come out of there still undefeated, he's wrestling well. Could set up a possible Saturday morning match with Jones or get another rematch with Hood.
Yep.
I don't know. It froze on me.
Where's Hood has?
Yep.
Let's see. Jones. Hood has 3 losses to Betts. They're well acquainted with each other. So going down, you got Delaney Roman, returning runner-up. Awesome Bricky from Carroll. His dad's an idiot. Oh, sorry. Anthony Reinhardt and Kenneth Bisping. So all 4 of those guys were at the Al Smith, and all 4 placed. So very interesting quarter bracket. Roman was
Sorry,
third.
it froze on me there.
Yeah, Roman was 3rd. Bricky was 6th. Reinhardt was 2nd, and Bisping was 7th, I believe. He was either 7th or 8th. So real interesting weight class. Reinhardt beat Roman in the semis, so might have a rematch there. So you there, Mike? Oh, there we are. You got it? Can you hear me, Mike? Hello?
No, I didn't freeze. I just can't hear Joe.
Oh, can you hear me now? Mike. Yeah, oops. Can you hear me now, Mike? Hello? Uh-oh. You're losing me. Let's see. Can you... Sounds like Mike has lost me.
There you go.
Okay.
I was about to send you back. I couldn't hear you for a second.
Okay.
Then it froze, and it's windy here. I'm not sure. Sounds windy outside.
So talking about that quarter bracket with Roman, Bricky, Reinhardt, and Bisping, all rematch. All those guys were at Al Smith, so pretty good quarter bracket, and everyone's has some common opponents or wrestled each other.
Yeah. Obviously, that's Roman's only loss on the year. Bisping was wrestling really well at East Chicago. Had some really exciting matches. And Bricky, obviously, he had to overcome some bad coaching.
Yeah, his dad was in the corner. That's what.
But it's a tough one. Anytime you draw a guy that was under the lights the year before, never easy. I know he had some injuries, so hopefully he's going to be able to go. But that Rollman possible Reinhardt rematch is kind of one to look for Saturday morning. Yeah,
definitely. Hopefully we don't get that rematch and we get a rematch of round 3 of Bricky and Bisping. They were 1-1.
Or they can have that rematch too.
Yeah. So next quarter bracket, you got Sam Goen, Crown Point, Corbin Watson, Lawrenceburg, Chase Leach, Garrett, Nick Cicerelli, Brownsburg. Could potentially have a Brownsburg Crown Point Saturday morning match. Obviously team race implications there, but obviously Lawrenceburg and Garrett are going to try to play spoiler.
Yeah, Corbin Watson took his first 2 losses of the season at the Newcastle semi-state, and Newcastle was pretty deep at 52. Sammy's been wrestling really well. I think the majority of his matches this year have gone to bonus points. I think only Blaze Garcia and Reinhardt were the only 2 non-bonus point matches he had this year. So that's a pretty tough one. Obviously, he's trying to get through and score big points for Crown Point, and they need him to. Got my Crown Point State Finals shirt on from last year. I did have a Hobart Bricky shirt on, but I was swimming in it. It was a 2X.
Man.
I know, man. Guy made me – I had to, reconsider my life. Chase Leach, real tough sophomore, second time in the state finals. Cicerelli, that'll be a real good Friday night matchup. Cicerelli was, I believe, ticket rounder last year. And Leach has been wrestling well the entire year. So possibly, like you said, that could have huge implications on the team race Saturday morning. I think a lot of that's going to come down. I think as we go on, we're going to see a lot of Crown Point, Brownsburg, Mater Dei in that mix.
Yep. The last quarter bracket, Cody Goodwin having a great senior season. Been in the mix the past few years and finally punched his ticket. Aiden Costello. He's going to have to overcome some really questionable coaching there. Hunter May, Mater Dei, and Alex Curry. That's going to 4-5 in the first round. That's going to be a doozy right there. Curry took his first loss, and that's not the draw exactly you wanted there. So, real good quarter bracket. I mean, May and Curry both have state medals. You got Lithero has been beating a lot of state guys throughout his career, so that's gonna be a fun one.
Yeah, I think Lithero is one of those guys. When you look back, you kind of are like, man, I think how has he not had a state medal? You know, he's been in the rankings for 4 years. He's had a lot of really good matches and really good wins. Not only just matches, but he's had a lot of really good wins. So Ron Cali getting him there. He's 37-0. He's having a great season. We talked about Newcastle, how deep it was winning that Newcastle semi-state. Hobart was on fire in the ticket round. They were winning a lot of really tight matches. Costello won his ticket round match 2-1. Pretty impressive for a freshman. Obviously, I think he had a penalty point and then ended up getting a ride out. I think that said it was 9-7 at team state, so it'd be a close one. I was actually surprised he dropped that 3rd and 4th place match. Kind of put him in a tougher spot. Anytime you draw a 4 and a 1 is never easy. But that Hunter May, Alex Curry is going to be tough. I mean, both those guys are medalists. Curry was 7th. May was a semifinalist last year. Mater Dei for Mater Dei to make a run, they're going to need Hunter May to make a run.
Yeah, he's in a, he's in about the best spot you could get in that bracket. So obviously, it's not going to be easy. You're going through Curry and Glithero, possibly. And,
Sam Coyne
but you get the semis, you're in a good spot. So he was in the semis last year, so he knows how to play that game, I guess.
Yeah. He got hot last year too. I think he had a tough draw last year also.
Yeah, 160. Charlie Houston from East Central. Cade Lone Northwood right there, 13-16. One of the rare ones where the 4 is higher ranked than the 1. Landon Bowe, Caleb Carter. That should be another good match right there. Carter's wrestling well at the right time. Bowe's obviously been there a couple times, right? Bowe's 7th in 2021 and was a qualifier in 2020. So thankfully my brackets look really nice. So should be a good quarter bracket there.
Has Bowe gone with 3 different schools? Or the first year did he go with Plainfield, or did he go with now he went with Plainfield? 2 with Plainfield, 1 with Avon?
Yeah.
Because his brother wrestled at Danville also, right?
Yes.
He could have been the rare guy qualifying for 3 teams.
Yes. Spreading the love.
Yeah. East Central's coaches told me that Charlie Houston was really good. He was a guy that They weren't like, those guys are awesome, man. Mark's a great dude. He's never like, hey, like my guy's really good and you're sleeping on him. He's like, hey man, I'm just letting you know he's pretty tough, you know. But 44-2. I know he lost to an Ohio kid. He lost to Cade Law. But Caden Lone's tough, man. He's really good. He's a middle school state champ coming in. Obviously, his brother had a good run. It's an interesting Friday night 4-1. I know there's a couple in there I have circled that I'm like, I know there's a post 4-over-1s. It's tough to pick those because obviously if you're a 1, you're wrestling really well right now. You won a semi-state, which is pretty amazing. But, man, that's one that, you know, like you said with the rankings, you kind of circle. And Landon Bowe is incredibly tough. Coach Maldonado usually has his guys ready to go Friday night. I didn't see his winning percentage on Friday night, but I'm sure it's pretty good. It's not – I don't know if it's as good as what Cathedral does, but I know that they find a way to win those matches, those 50-50 toss-ups. But Landon Bowe is really, really good, and he's tough to wrestle.
Yeah. Going down, Logan Farnell from Mechaniqua, having a real good junior year. He's pretty tough. He's solid. He beat a real good Duke Myers in the finals. Zach Huckabee from Perry Meridian, sophomore, with 11 losses. That's that'll be an interesting matchup. Then you got number 2 in the 7, IJ Steinbeck. Third time at state. He gets a tough one with Cade Law, returning semifinalist. That's a real good quarter bracket. Farnell's pretty tough. I mean, we've seen him twice this year. Funky, can score, you know, good on his feet, good on the mat. Kind of, you know, you have to really be disciplined to wrestle him. His one loss, Nick, is to Landon Bowe. So that's very, you know, it's going to be a good
overtime
bracket there.
It was close.
Yeah.
I don't know if it was overtime. It was close.
So, Landon Bowe, Nick, pay attention, listen, put your listening ears on.
Yeah, AJ Steinbeck kind of had that tough draw at semi-state where him and Goodwin were probably the 1 and 2, and they were on the same side. Which I think when you look at it, you don't really think everyone's those guys are going to go to state, but then it puts you in a bad position Friday night with no Russell back. AJ's tough. He's been there twice already. Cade Law's really good, really solid, solid in all positions. Couple-time Al Smith champ, missed an Al Smith due to COVID. I think he's going to be right in the mix. But like you said, Zach Huckabee wrestling really well right now. You get there 28-11. You get there with double-digit losses. Ooh, we're going to win a state championship next year. That's good for him. He's the heir to this generation.
Yes.
Logan Farnell, 44-1. I think we were pretty high on him. I thought he was pretty tough the entire year. I actually picked him to win the semi-state. Don't let my Belmont friends hear that. That helped me get higher ranking at the Fort Wayne semi-state. He goes to Mechaniqua. We had a girl sub with us a couple weeks ago from Mechaniqua. I asked Joe, like, what's by their school? He said, absolutely nothing. So I got her like the Starbucks gift card, which I guess they don't have Starbucks there. And I was like, so like, what's by you guys? She's like, well, we have one like Mexican restaurant and a Subway.
Yeah.
So he has to be good at wrestling. There's not a lot of stuff going on out there.
Yeah. No,
But I wouldn't be surprised to see him make a run. I think when you get guys that are strong and can put you in some weird positions, good on top, you could get that Landon Bowe Farnell possible rematch.
Yeah, I was so glad that we wrestled him at the Wild Bill, not the Tame Bill, and got our hands on him, kind of knew what we needed to do, made some adjustments in the semis. We just made a mental lapse for just a quick second, and he took advantage of it. So that's one of those things that really, he's the type of kid that you want to be able to wrestle, but obviously I don't think any of those guys have wrestled him, and it's gonna be a struggle. Saturday morning, he'll come out there and do his thing. I know it. Like Breaky said, Austin wrestled him last year at our wannabe Wild Bill duels, and he's this big, tall, goofy, redheaded kid, and like I was like, come on,
why are you discriminating, man?
I was like, man, I was like, why? How did you lose to this kid? And then obviously you see him go on and go to state last year, so he's pretty tough and someone that you gotta keep your eye on. Obviously, Mechaniqua we don't talk about much, as you know, having a lot of state placers and stuff, so that's good for them to have that kind of success. So
he was unranked last year. We did not make that same mistake 2 years in a row.
Yes. So going down, you got Cody Goodwin, number 3, 34-2. Chris Newton, both his losses are out of state. And then you got Chris Newman from Mount Vernon Posey. He's doing a bookend. He was a qualifier at 106 as a freshman. You got Jared Landis from Carroll, Leo Calderon from Centerville. Obviously, Goodwin's having a real good year, been pretty dominant and, wrestling pretty tough right now. So it's going to be, he's going to be in the mix to wrestle under the lights here.
Yeah, I think I know there's been some chatter on the board that they didn't think that maybe he wasn't as good, or maybe I don't know. They're kind of like insinuating that, like, what has he done? He's really good, and I think that he's had some unfortunate hiccups in his career. In Cody Goodwin, that's kind of put him in some bad positions. I mean, I'd be willing to bet that if Crown Point could have had his points 2 years in a row, like, they would probably take those. Like, they'd be in the mix, like top 3 teams, I believe. Maybe one year it would have been I think if they put his points in just a medal, I think that they thought he was going to be good. And they try to not give him a seat at the Al Smith, which is even crazier now that you see him winning semi-states.
Oh, man, why do you
right?
remind me of that?
Oh, man, no, I think that's because sometimes as coaches, the coaches, not as coaches, because I'm not coaching, that we're trying to fight for the wrong battle. Like, that guy's really good. I always feel like, cool, if that's a guy that you want to draw out of the hat, cool, give him the number 1 seed right off the bat.
Yeah.
His 2 losses are really good out-of-state kids, national level kids. He's beat a kid from Legacy, and last year that was a nationally ranked kid that's going to Ohio State. But Newman's tough. That's going to be a tough one. 6 losses Friday night. Landez and Calderon, good landing spot for Landez as far as like 3s go. Or as 2s go. I mean, you couldn't get Myers. You didn't want to get Cade Law. I mean, maybe Caleb Carter. I don't know. But Leo Calderon was a freshman sophomore champ his second year and has kind of been in the mix. I think that he wanted him pretty high. Like, he was pretty high. I think I had him ranked at 82 at some point. So to see him at 60 is pretty amazing. That'll be a good one Friday night too. Yeah, Landis is tough.
He's not that big. He's pretty short and stocky, so he must have been just eating a little bit more than he should be. So Jay Conway, Brady Pittman. Pittman was a qualifier last year. Conway making his 4th trip there, returning state champ. Chase Wagner and Duke Myers in the other quarter bracket. I was just looking at, did not look like they wrestled at the Al Smith, but good quarter bracket. Obviously, Conway's a returning champ, and his coach likes to do jump roping.
Leo Calderon won his freshman sophomore state title at 170.
Oh, geez.
So that's 2 years ago. You assume that guys go the other way usually.
Yeah, yes, usually they do.
Another really good quarter bracket. I mean, rankings wise, even guys that are not ranked, there's a lot of ranked guys in these brackets. But Bradley Pittman, a returning qualifier, short, stocky kid, pretty tough. 26, that's a tough draw. Jay Conway's really good. Jay Conway wrestling really well, going back for a second title. You're right. His coach is going to do the international jump rope committee next year, right?
Yes.
He went all across all these states. Next year, it's going across the world. Chase Wagner, Duke Meyer. That's going to be a good Friday night match between 2 really tough sophomores. You said they did not wrestle at Al Smith?
Not from what I could tell.
Those guys have been doing it for a while, man, for a long time. I know Wagner's been around and Myers have been around. Those are 2, wrestling names with those in those communities that have been there. Obviously Duke's dad's really well, and Wagner's. I think there's been a good amount of those brothers that have had a lot of success in that Zionsville program.
Yeah, it looks like he lost to Weems and Steinbeck at least. There, so.
Weems pretty good, man.
Yeah, Weems is pretty good too.
Unfortunate for him. Unfortunate that he was injured. Hopefully, I know he dealt with some injuries. I don't think you tape your shoulder up that to look cool, and then I think he got injured again at Al Smith. So only a freshman that could have made some noise.
Yep. 170. You got Connor Svatner from Valpo. He's an Ohio import. Just so you guys trying to figure out where this guy came from. He was a blood round guy there. I think a couple years. Braxton Russell from Delta, sophomore. Bunch his way to state out of a pretty deep weight class in Fort Wayne. And then you got Clifton Johnson from North Central and Aiden Farmer from Evansville Memorial. Aiden is making his 2nd trip there, right? Yes. Yep. He was a qualifier last year at 52. So kind of a little bit of unknowns in this quarter bracket here.
Yeah, Svatner wrestling really well. They had a nice article about him today in the NWI Times. I think he's related to my guy Dante Colza. So if anyone's wondering who Dante's picking for a state title, I think that's who he has. I think that was one of the things on the board today. Braxton Russell, unfortunately, I didn't have him ranked. It wasn't even on the watch list. I did not have him on there. So surprise to me. I think, like you said, he got out of a pretty tough Fort Wayne where a guy with a medal staying home. Mm-hmm. But Clifton Johnson came down a weight class. He was up earlier. And then Aiden Farmer, I think he's had a couple losses to Bowman, so it's a tough area for wrestling in that weight class. But Svatner's wrestling well. His one loss is to Aiden White from Crown Point at the DAC, which he avenged at the regional. Russell's kind of with the chip on his shoulder, real good on his feet, real smooth. So I know talking to some of the Ohio guys, they said he was real tough there, just kind of bad luck, bad draws.
Yeah, that should be an interesting quarter bracket there. Going down, you got a real good one. You got number 3, Brody Porter, Ethan Pop from Harrison, and the Raiders. And then you got Cody Quaja from Floyd Central, number 2, and number 12, JJ Braun from Cathedral. That should be a good Friday night match. And, we're talking about a little bit of the, Brownsburg, Crown Point kind of being in the mix for a state title. Cathedral has some guys that can kind of sneak into, some good spots, and, you get a couple wins here or there, you can really change the tide real quick.
Yeah, and I think McGinley has like an 86% like Friday night win rate or something stupid.
Yeah.
I don't know what it is. I don't know what it is off the top of my head, but it's something ridiculous. Yeah. Like they find a way to win, and I think those toss-up matches. And I'm not saying that they're going to win that one. Cody Quaja is absolutely really good. He had a really good summer placing at Fargo. He's going to go to be a Wolverine at Michigan. Hopefully he goes into the medical field. Their facilities up there were amazing. Ethan Pop was on the watch list. I don't know who's doing the weights at Harrison, but those guys are pretty fit, man.
Yeah.
Donnie Kreider and those guys, I think they were more like naturally strong. The guys at Harrison now are like their weight program looks pretty legit. Those dudes are pretty put together. Brody Porter coming down from 82, kind of an interesting move. Especially, 82 at Fort Wayne had a monster freshman, which we're about to talk about. But 170 is deep, man. It has a lot of really good guys, and that was a really tough semi-state. So that was an interesting move. That could be a really good or quarterfinal match with Brody Porter and Quaja, especially on the same side with Svatner.
Yeah, that should be interesting to see who ends up on that half bracket. So going down, we got Broderick Bowman.
Is that true? Is Jason making that up? That Kreider's the weight coach? I did not hear that. I heard he had a different job.
So Brody Bauman, Anthony Cashman Friday night. Then you got Eli Johnson, just took his first loss to Porter, and Isaac Valdez from Mishawaka. You got obviously 4 ranked guys there, number 1 and 8 possibly in the almost like you'd seed it there. Johnson's having a real good senior year, and so it should be a good quarter bracket here.
Yeah, I think obviously Brody Bauman's an animal. 31-0, returning champ. I think Cashman had a really good summer. I know he put a ton of work in. He was at everything. Like anything that you've seen nationally, he was going to. Eli Johnson, really tough kid from Norwell, 38-1. That could be a good one. Isaac Valdez, it says a 3-sport athlete. I know he wrestled 32 last year, so that's a huge jump. He'll be back. I think Mishawaka returns almost all of the guys that they're – I think they return all the guys that they're taking down this year, which is good for their program.
Yeah. So next quarter bracket, another really good one. You got another 4 is ranked higher than the number 1, Ryan Cass, Hamilton Southeastern, coming on strong late in the season. Ben Phillips, returning state placer, 6 and 7 there. Then you got Jesse Herrera having a great season for Highland senior, and then Landon Buchanan from Jimtown, his coach, hopefully spells his name correctly. He has spelling issues. That Penn education, right? That's a great education to have. I say so myself. So should be a real good, good quarter bracket there. That Cass Phillips match. I mean, is that when you say potential 4-1, is that really a big upset? But I mean, that's a good match right there.
I mean, Phillips, and I mean, not to like rub salt in the wound, Phillips had a really good Friday night match last year. Charlestown's bringing some really good individuals. Cast's tough, man. 32-1. I know they said he's pretty good on top. He's a pinner. Jesse Herrera, I'm happy to see Highland get a guy through. Jesse's a good kid. I know they said that he goes to all the kids tournaments and helps coach those guys, which, you love to see that. 36-4. I know he took a loss at the semi-state to Svatner. I think he has 2 to Svatner. That's kind of what puts Svatner on the radar. I know he took one to Cervantes also. And then Landon Buchanan, wrestling really well, really tough, solid. He has 3 incredibly tough losses. So whoever wins at that 1 and 4, you're going to have a tough one Saturday morning. And Landon Buchanan had to have a tough one to even get there. I mean, that was that's one that you circled at the semi-state, and if you had a flow count, you're watching that, right?
Yeah,
that was the one. And he handled.
Yeah, he has like a 7-1, 7-2. I didn't see the match. I was pretending to coach, sitting in a chair, so I didn't see it, and I haven't even went back. But I was pretty surprised to see that score, that difference. So that should be interesting. Cass has only lost his to Hayden Shepard, which is very interesting. Yeah. So.
And Coach Magger has been telling me this whole year about how they want to get into these dodgeball tournaments. He said Jimtown got hands, man. They'll be catching. I don't know. He didn't say anything about guys that can throw, but he said these guys can.
Uh-oh. You there? And Mike froze up. You there, Mike? Uh-oh. Of course. Right in between weight classes. Mike is frozen. Uh-oh. Let's try this. You gonna come back? Oh, he's gone. Give me a second. He lost connection. I'm calling him back. Here we go.
Kick me out, man.
Yeah.
No, I lost connection there.
So, hey, he's back. So we didn't lose much. We're back. We haven't started anything. So I think it was Maggart getting mad that you're talking trash about Jimtown. And he probably hacked the Skype.
Nah, man. Give him praise.
So,
half of playing dodgeball is catching it too, man.
Yeah. So yeah, good weight class there, and so we're gonna. Uh-oh. Yeah, there. Yeah. There we go. We're back.
Yeah. I don't know, man.
We're at 180. Okay, at 182. Can you hear us now? You good?
Yep.
Okay. I'm gonna exit out of there. Okay, so another good 4-1 at 182. Luke Hansen, junior, 35-2, having a real good season. Jake Sue's a returning state medalist. 6-10 right there. Then you got 5-9. Hunter Page, another returning medalist. Got a tough freshman, Gunnar Henry. This is one of those weights where you're kind of looking at, this quarter bracket. You're like, did Henry get in a good spot? Obviously, he has some good wins this year. Tough freshman, but he's gonna have to possibly go through 2 state placers just to make it to the ticket or to the semifinals. So it's one of those spots where you're not sure if that's a good spot or a bad spot, especially in this weight class.
Yeah, I still think that was the right move for those guys to move him to 82. I think he's in the mix. You're gonna have to beat tough guys across the board. The entire bracket can be tough. Luke Hansen and Jake Sues, don't be like the 10 losses. I don't think you can get fooled by that. Obviously, I think he came with a handful of losses last year and made it to a medal. I believe he lost to Hunter Page last year in the quarters too, right? Or maybe in the
consolations.
In the consolations.
Well, we can see Susan Simpson. Suze was 8th and Page was 6th. So I think
they bracketed up. But I know Simpson has beat Suze a couple times. I know he avenged one of his losses to Brandon Hammer, typically New Valley. I know he's lost a couple to Orlando Cruz. So I'd be willing to bet on who's your losses to. That's probably all of them.
Yeah, Suze has 3 to Simpson, 4 to Cruz, Brandon Hammer, Cooper Kinsler, and VZ.
Yeah, so
pretty solid.
Pretty good. Yeah. Hanson, I know, took a loss at Team State to Simpson, where Simpson, I think, took him down and pinned him pretty quick. I'm not positive on the time of it. So that makes for an interesting matchup there. Hunter Page has 2 losses to VZ. Gunnar Henry, that's a tough one, man. That'd be interesting, but Brownsburg needs Gunnar to make to make a run.
Yep.
And he can. He's good enough that I wouldn't doubt to see him into the semis.
Yeah.
Third period. Sorry, Johansson. Still a fall.
Yes. So
I oversold it. And then Danny followed it up third period.
So next quarter bracket, another real good quarter bracket. Orlando Cruz, 36-1 on the year. Tommy Hannon, back in the sport. Good to see. Comes back out his senior year after wrestling a little bit in middle school and making it to state. That's pretty cool. Chard doesn't usually bring a lot of qualifiers. Good for their school. Then you got Reed Schroeder from Southridge and Jaquan East from Kokomo. Kokomo has some good bigger guys and a couple of younger guys up there. So pretty good quarter bracket there. Obviously, Cruz having a really good season.
Yeah, I think Orlando's tough. He's a tough matchup. I think when he gets his offense going, it's tough to go with him. We've seen it a little bit at the Al Smith when he took his loss to Buchanan. Got a real quick takedown. I think he cut him, and then Buchanan, I think, kind of controlled the match after that. Tommy Hannon, a big athletic kid, running back, they said, for Chatard. So good to see them get a guy there. Reed Schroeder was a state qualifier, I think, last year or 2 years ago. Did you say, I'm saying that right?
2021.
Last year,
yep.
And Jaquan East was a freshman-sophomore champ, so that'll be an interesting one. I don't know if Schroeder went to freshman-sophomore state, but Jaquan East having a real solid season.
Yep. And then the bottom half of the bracket, doozy. Right there, you got De Alcapon, Pone VZ, Snyder. Those 4 of those losses, two are injury defaults. One is to Buchanan. Another one was an illegal slam that the kid didn't get up on. So those are very deceiving to see 4 losses there. He really should only have 1 loss. 1 or 2 maybe. So
it depends on how Al Smith would have played out after that, but yeah.
So you got VZ versus Alex Rose from Terre Haute South, Cooper Kinsler from Delphi, and then Evan Tilton from Hamilton Heights. So really good spot for VZ. Obviously, I'm sure some Snyder fans are pretty excited about that. So,
I think Alex Rose kind of got the benefit of getting that bracket moved at Evansville. I think it put McBee in a bad spot and put Alex Rose in a better spot due to injury. But VZ's really tough, man. I think this is the start. I mean, this could be a Mason Paris-esque run. I don't know if he's ever going to be as big as Mason. I don't know. His family size, obviously Mason's dad's huge. You knew he was going to grow into that, but he started off at 82 and made a run to the state finals, losing to Osborne. And I think VZ's capable of the same thing. Cooper Kinsler, a real good athlete. He was on the watch list. He wasn't ranked. And Ethan Tilton having a real good season for the Iron Bears, the Hamilton Heights Iron Bears. Took his first loss in the semi-state championship. That'll be a good Friday night matchup. I think 2 guys that are pretty good athletes. It's good to see Delphi get a guy down. I know they lost their coaches. In Plymouth, we could have said 2. Plymouth lost their coach this year. I don't know if he was still coaching, but, a legend there. And Delta lost a legend, Atwood, this year. And they did a real nice ceremony before the finals at the East Chicago Semi-State for Coach Ballish and all those guys. Yeah, 3rd as a freshman.
Yeah.
Sorry, Jason.
Yeah, so it should be that's a good quarter bracket right there. Obviously, Tilton having a real good season, only took his first loss, so that could be a very interesting Friday match. Then you got the bottom quarter bracket is pretty only 2 ranked guys, but you got 1 and a 4. You got Drake Buchanan versus Trey Tobias, still waiting for one of his losses. Come on, Northwood people. That should be, Buchanan's having a real good year. Haven't, been challenged a couple times, so, he's battle tested. Obviously, Center Grove wrestles a great schedule. David Nash, East Central, and Jacob Simpson from Hobart. That should, obviously Simpson got Purdy last year, first round, so a little bit different Friday night draw, or Friday morning draw here, but should be some good matches right there.
Yeah, Nash real tough, 42-4. East Central, like we said a couple times, go out of state a lot. They go to Ohio. I know Simpson, real good athlete, good football player. I know that I've heard from those guys for a year. Like he drew Purdy last year on Friday night, got headlocked. So they're out there trying not to get headlocked this Friday night. If that happened 2 years in a row, I don't know if Danny could ever live it down.
Yeah. Well, he's not
Buchanan,
wrestling the Princeton kid. So
yeah, the Princeton kid's out here handing out headlocks like it's Halloween.
If he's wrestling Dunn, I'm picking Dunn there. They might just have a match just to see. No, I'm kidding. Sorry, Danny, don't hurt me.
Simpson's had a couple losses to Cruz. Real good year. I know he lost to Suze at Harvest. But that'll be interesting. He's an athletic kid that can get on a run. I mean, you see it all the time. Guys that are been wrestling for a long time that are good athletes that just put it together for one weekend and get a state title. But he's gonna have to go through 82's tough, man. Buchanan is really tough. Obviously, he's a D1 guy. I believe he was a Pan American champ at one time. V's is a Pan Am's champ.
Yeah, back when he was like 138. 132.
Yeah, back in the back day. We got a couple Pan Am champs in here.
Yeah.
Pretty interesting bracket overall, but really, really tough. And it kind of got seeded. You don't want that 1 and 4 there with VZ on the same side is tough, and Cruz is the 2. So pretty interesting. Those guys all kind of separated.
Yep. So going down 1-9 at 5. See, there we go. Gabe Solers, Mater Dei, returning state champ. He has 2 losses, one to Little from Kentucky and one to Purdy, but he's gotten 3 over Purdy now. Then Jackson Ingenito from Daleville looks pretty solid at semi-state. And then Ronan Hyman, he would rather throw you than know you, and Will Clark. Tough draw for Crown Point right there with Will Clark wrestling Rory Wall towards the end of the season.
Yeah, I think Will Clark likes to throw too, so that could be a good Friday. If you like guys that like to go upper body and go big moves, that could be exciting Friday night. Who doesn't like to see a couple good throws? Will Clark just kind of ran into a buzzsaw and Connor Barkett in the finals of semi-state. Didn't get the bracket guys weren't kind to him because you get the same side as Gabe Solers. I think, and we'll talk, I'm sure when we're done, we'll talk about the team race a little bit more. But Gabe Solers is incredibly good, and he's going to finish with a really good career for Mater Dei this weekend. And they're going to look back and just kind of say how tough he was and how good of a get that was for them. Mm-hmm. I don't think he's from the Evansville area originally, but I think that's been a good fit for those guys. So if Crown Point wants to really steal it out, they beat Gabe Solers Saturday morning. If they win that one Friday night, I'm sure they'll be having a lot of trips around the square in Crown Point come Saturday night or Sunday morning.
So the next quarter bracket's a very interesting one. Armin Koltukian from Concord, semi-state champ out of Concord. He lifts weights. He is very well built, very similar to how I look. I would say it out there loud. If I take my shirt off, you'd be like, "Oh man, you might be his dad," but I'm not. At least I'm pretty positive I'm not. Samuel Saunders from Terre Haute North, and then Gage DeMarco Chesterton versus Max Broom. DeMarco was 4th last year. Broom was a qualifier. Obviously, Kolta Kuyen, pretty interesting year. He has 6 losses. I have them up because I had to find them. I know one was to, where are we at? We just had him. Where'd he go? He lost to Vincent McDonald, Christian Chavez twice, Will Clark, Al Smith, Wyatt Woodall, and then Paul DeWitt from LaVille. So he has a couple wins over Jacob Boehm, who we'll be talking about here in a minute. So interesting wrestler. Obviously, Concord doesn't put a lot of kids at state, so it'll be interesting to see how that Friday night match goes.
Yeah, congratulations to him. He was not ranked. I think he's the only semi-state champ that was unranked. That'll be a tough one Friday night with Samuel Sanders. I think he had a pretty good IPO that kind of put him on the radar. Gage DeMarco had a really good run last year as a semifinalist. And Max Broom, another guy from Hamilton Southeastern, I think that he's pretty good on top. I think he gets a lot of falls. DeMarco, by taking third. I know he lost to Barkett in the semis, kind of put himself, it landed him in an easier position, obviously, with the wrestle Purdy on Saturday morning, possibly, to make another run to the semis.
Yeah, that first, I mean, Broom's pretty tough. I mean, Rapper wrestled him last year, and you kept my eyes on him for a while, so that'll be a good Friday night match, Friday morning match, whatever. Obviously he's ranked 17th, had some losses this year, but he's not one that you can overlook. Right there.
He was in that weird like North Indy like triangle with like Zionsville and Noblesville and those guys, and they would trade in like wins and losses. It was hard to that's pretty good. They got me off my game a little bit. Bagger got me there. That one made me laugh. Brooms beat Sanders 3-2 this year. He likes to pin people, man. So he's a pinner. But he's had a real solid couple of years. It was hard to rank that area just because those guys wrestle a lot and they would trade wins and losses.
And it wasn't just like Broom. It's like half those wrestlers, the Zionsville, Rustfield, Hamilton Southeastern, those guys all like to beat up on each other.
Yeah.
Jeez.
It was like Hastings, McDonald, Broom. Dude, it was just like that's an area that those guys wrestle a ton.
Yeah.
I'm like, come on, man. You guys are nice schools, man. Branch out. Go to Evansville. Go to the Fort Wayne. Go wrestle Carroll a little bit. Let me see how you do against those guys.
Come up to the Wayne. We have nice things there. We have the Garrett Invite. We have the Wild Bill. You guys come enjoy the Wild Bill.
You guys got Sweetwater there. You can go buy some headphones, play music.
Yeah. Buy a new guitar. Go down the slide. So we'll go down next quarter bracket. Another real good one. You got Connor Barkett, 51-0, 50 matches, pretty impressive. Ryan Bovard from East Central, returning qualifier. Wyatt Willman, another returning placer. Alex Deming, Rochester, another good match. Tough young gun for Rochester. Rochester's going to be in the mix for a while. They have some guys in their lineup now and some guys coming up that's going to be interesting to see how the Zebras fare.
Oh, yeah. They're young, and they got a guy, Lane Horn, coming in that'll be in the mix next year. His dad was incredibly strong. I believe he was a qualifier in 2000. He had a really unfortunate draw as a senior. Or 99, he was a qualifier 2000. He had a really unfortunate draw. At the semi-state, he had Mike Reiser first, Eric Keith second.
Jeez, that's a brutal draw.
Yeah, so he beat me, and then drew Eric Keith, who won state that year. He lost an overtime match to Mike Bartley at the regional when Rochester used to still go to Maryville. But that's a good one to get. But when you're 195 sophomore, everyone else in your quarter bracket's a senior. Barkett's wrestling really well, 51-0. I know we give the Logansport Regional a hard time in the region. That is the most region draw. That Paul's not wrong. Like everyone that's talking all that mess about how Evansville's so tough, like me and Jason and Maggart and all those guys had to live that for years. Like you sweat. If you didn't win a regional, and if you did, you were sweating a draw because you were like praying. And this is gonna like throw some shade at Logansport that I'm gonna give him a compliment. Like you were praying for that Logansport draw because you had like monsters coming out of everywhere. And that's kind of what Evansville's going through now. They just never did it before, I guess. So they're acting like they invented it.
Wow.
It's true, man. You can go on. There's like 9 pages of it.
Yeah.
Right?
Oh, yeah. Yes.
Like you can go on the forum.
Man, poor Triple B's not. He's probably listening to this. I can probably hear him screaming right now.
But Barkett, I know I talked to some of those guys, and they were like, "Oh, we hope we get Logansport at 95." I was like, "No, he's a different animal, man. He's real tough." Yeah, Jason didn't. I don't. He got a regional as a sophomore. He's a runner-up as a freshman. I don't think he got out of the region. Like the regional at 113 was like crazy. But Barkett's a Red Cobra kid. He makes that trip down to see Chad Red, and obviously the guys that work with Chad Red are pretty good. He's really tough. He pinned. I thought him and Clark would be close, and he ended up pinning him pretty quick. I think it was the first period. Willman, real tough, returning medalist, cut down to be in this weight. I know he'd wrestled some 220. I kind of like put him at 220. I was like, maybe he'll stay there. after he sees like how tough it is. And he's like, nah, you know what? I want to go wrestle all the toughest guys. He's like, all right, you know, you want to be out there with the Purdy's and the Salers in your Sam Regional. And then, is that true? Barkett's family smarter than everybody else in the state.
I don't know. I guess we'll have to find. We'll have to have an IQ test, I guess, before we enter.
And then, so Demling got a tough one Friday night, but that's 3 guys with state experience in the same quarter bracket, which is never good.
Yeah, and a sophomore. So that'll be interesting. So then got another good Friday night match, 5-9. Antov Jordan from Franklin Central, returning placer at 220, decides he wants to throw his hat in the ring at 195. Christian Chavez from Mishawaka. That should be a good one. Then Jacob Boehm, Fremont, and John Purdy from Castle. So you got 3 top 10 ranked guys, 12 losses between all 4 of them, and all those 3 losses Purdy are to, I mean, they're all good losses. So that's going to be interesting to see.
Yeah, 4 top 10 ranked guys, right?
Yeah. 4
that's tough. 95 was tough at Chavez. I talked to Fabian before the match, and they wanted that Clark match in the semis, and like, we're not going to go upper body with them. And then like I look over, and he's going upper body with them. I said, I thought they did not want to go upper body with them. Were they like trying to? Did they think I was going to tell Crown Point, hey, they're going to go upper body? And he went to his back and got pinned, and his dad was pissed. And so that was the game plan, not to go upper body with them. So that did not put him in a good spot. And then you got a semifinalist in the 3rd and 4th place match, so that kind of puts you in a tough spot with Tavian Jordan Friday night. Boehm 42-3, real tough senior. John Purdy, a super athlete, man. Pretty good on the football field. Real good Division I family. His sister's a Division I softball player, so a pretty brutal quarterfinal bracket. But it separated out pretty good because there's a lot of good guys coming out of Evansville there that pretty tough.
Yeah, pretty solid weight there. Going down our second to last weight. Let's just go just a hair here. You got top quarter bracket. You got Blake Hirely, Adams Central, returning 8th place finisher. Only 1 loss on the year up, as we were talking about Barkett. Jacob Long from Noblesville. Congrats to Boom Man, Coach Mike Weimer, getting his first state qualifier as a head coach. He's had quite a few as an assistant. Then we're going down. Kelton Farmer, returning qualifier from Evansville Memorial. And then Juan Grange from Penn, having a real good senior year after losing in the ticket round to Barkett. We're going to see how many people we can mention with Barkett's name here, but a lot of real good, you got 3, 4, 7, 16, so pretty good quarter bracket.
Yeah, I think Juan Grange's dad, I think he made a post last year about, they came from Texas, about how ridiculous Indiana State tournament is, because I think he had single-digit losses and ended up drawing Barkett in the ticket round. He's like, how can number 5 and number 3 at that point wrestle each other for a ticket? This is stupid with no wrestle back. And I was like, hey, man, welcome to Indiana. But Blake Hirely, really tough, 42-1. Jacob Long, congratulations to Coach Weimer. I think they said it was his first qualifier there at Noblesville, right?
Yep.
Did you say that already? I was texting when you were talking.
Yeah, and Long's been banged up a little bit throughout the postseason. If you getting a little bit healthier every week, so that's kind of that's obviously something with our longer state tournament. If you're banged up a little bit, you have a week in between each big match, so you can get healthy, which is nice.
And then Kellen Farmer and Juan Grange would be a really good one. I thought Grange, obviously if you look at it, you see fall for Christian Carroll. I thought he wrestled Christian pretty tough. I know in our group text, someone responded, well, if a 14-4 and then fall is a close match, then, what are we talking about? But I thought I thought he went at him pretty well. I know that they think that Grange is one of the top guys, that they expect to see him under the lights. You never know, but it was an interesting match for sure.
Yeah. Farmer has 3 losses to Critchfield, 1 to Willman, and 1 to Tommy Morrow. So pretty good, 5 losses. You've seen he's wrestled a pretty good, mix of guys. So that should be interesting there.
And he's the rare younger brother bigger than the older brother, right?
Yes. Yeah.
That's tough. It's tough
Next
to live with.
next quarter bracket. This is like the back half of the weights have a lot of the good 4-1s. Jelante Hinton, number 19. He's a 4 out of Fort Wayne. You got Jackson Weigart from Cathedral. Um, that's going to be an interesting match. Hinton turning state qualifier as a sophomore in a real good spot. Obviously, if you're 220, you don't want to draw Critchfield. You don't want to draw uh, uh, Christian Carroll. So you got as good as draws you're going to get. And Fort Wayne's pretty solid and in at 220, so that should be a good one. Then you got Paul Clark, Tommy Morrow. That should be another tough match right there. Obviously not the better draw for Crown Point, but that should be that's going to be a war right there Friday night.
Yeah, I think, and one of the things, just kind of looking at all of the weights, you see so many young guys at 220 here. You got a couple sophomores going at it on Friday night with Weigert and Jelante Hinton. Jelante Hinton, super explosive. A guy that can, make a run. We kind of said the same thing, like a guy that's an athlete that can make a run and get hot. Weigert, he's going to have that Irish and, Friday night in his corner. You talk about a semi-state champ with 11 losses. I know that I only put him on the watch list, I think, as like someone was like, yeah, watch at the Tri-Coff. They're like, he's going to qualify for state. And like, I was like watching him lose. I'm like, man, why did you guys tell me this? And then now he's winning semi-state. So he was not in the rankings, right? I did not have him in there.
Yeah.
One of the only two unranked semi-state champs. But congratulations to him. And he's a guy that can, get big points for the Irish.
Yeah.
The Cathedral always finds a way to like make a run at a state title. Like Saturday morning, I'm sitting there thinking like, everyone counted these guys out, and here they are making a run to win state again.
Yeah. Yeah, he's in a good spot. Obviously, two top ranked guys are in the other quarter bracket. He could easily. I'm not going to be surprised if you see him in the semifinals. That's what Cathedral does, and they have some good big guy coaches there, and get him wrestling well.
That's Mo Guns, right?
Yeah.
Tommy Morrow, Paul Clark would be a good one. Tommy Morrow might have the best hair. I don't know if he's still rocking those locks, but it was pretty good.
Yeah. Not as good as Coach Cooper, but it's, good close runner-up. So, last quarter bracket, Nathan Critchfield, Mater Dei, undefeated. Jordan Cree from Rensselaer. Chance Harris, Devin Kendricks. That's a rematch from the IPO where I believe Kendricks won. So, and Harris wrestled real well. He beat, had a revenge match with Monroe Central kid first round, beat him, and then beat a pretty good Northwood kid in the ticket round. So, and he's been battle tested. That Fort Wayne semi-state or sectional regional been brutal. So, he's gonna be ready, and that's gonna be an interesting quarter bracket.
Yeah, Critchfield also a pinner. He's had a real good year. Jordan Cree had a real cool ticket round match. Probably not for the Rensselaer coaches. They probably had a heart attack. I think he got lateral dropped in the first 10 seconds, and then had to fight off his back against the LaVille kid who's really tough. Nice, he'll be good. He's a freshman at 220. 220 was pretty solid. That's not the draw you want. Obviously the probably the toughest kids coming out of your semi-state, but Critchfield and Carroll being on the same side, not what I wanted to see. I kind of want to see that maybe be the final. See it separate a little bit better, but we've talked about that a little bit about some finals being in the semis. Chance Harris, real solid. I know everyone that's seen them is just man, he's gonna wrestle you a real solid match, not give up anything crazy. And Devin Kendricks, it's pretty impressive to see a freshman at the state finals. 31-6, did not have a very good Al Smith for whatever reason. I know he was ranked really high before that. I think he was 0-2 or 1-2 there. But again, a junior, a freshman, and a senior in a quarter bracket. So pretty impressive.
And then we got the bottom quarter bracket, another pretty good one. You got Christian Carroll. He's pretty good at wrestling. Number 1 ranked in the state, in the country, and in our hearts. Now wrestling, obviously he's pretty tough. I got Royce, RD3, or Trey. I like RD3, sounds better.
I like
record. But, he's probably going to try to throw him. Go big or go home. So that should be, that kid's going to go in there. He's going to battle. Swain and Cruz are going to have him ready, and they're going to throw everything at him. They don't care. They wrestle a tough schedule, and Deckard obviously doesn't. He bumped up at Team State to wrestle Ralph from Modern Day and won it for him, so he's going to get after it. Justin Lewis, Roncalli senior, qualifying there. Obviously, we've touched on the Newcastle 220 has just been everyone's beating each other, and it's been like, how do you rank these guys? And then Brady Beck, tough sophomore from Rochester, another young guy. I'm repeating myself more than once with these guys, but so that should be an interesting, first round match. Beck's pretty tough, a little bit kind of sneaky athletic, and I mean, I know we wrestled him in the ticket round, and holds good position, gets in, doesn't take big risk, takes smart risk, low risk attacks, and it'll be interesting to see how he does, this year and the next couple of years.
Yeah, Christian Carroll's really good. I think his finals match was his longest match of the season. I know those guys trained together. Really nice kid, which is even cooler. I think him and Jesse both, great representatives for the sport, for two guys that are ranked, number one in the country. I'm interested to see if he's a one and done. I know there's been some talk about him possibly going early or doing like a Olympic Training Center. I mean, we might see him go for one and just enjoy it as it goes,
Yeah.
So, but maybe if RD3 pulls out that Friday night upset, he got the headlock in tow. I'm sure Christian Carroll's probably good at Greco also. He's really strong.
Yes.
Justin Lewis, Ron Cali can make a run too. They have some tough Friday night ones, but you get on a little bit of a roll, they can get some guys into the start getting into the medals, and then you can start collecting some points. They had a real good year as a team. Brady Beck, another sophomore for Rochester. They're going to be really good. When they won the semi-state out there for you guys, right?
Yep. Yeah, they came down the last match. Their heavyweight won in overtime to win it.
Talked about that. Marshall Fishback.
Extra young zebras. Yes. So the zebras are very young. They're kind of like foals.
So. We gotta get some hashtag extra young zebras, but we gotta make sure that's not copyrighted.
Yes.
We'll have our lawyers look into it.
Yep. We'll have our lawyer look into it. He has to send some cease and desist real quick too. So heavyweight, the big guys. Should be another great weight class here. Some interesting stories in this quarter bracket. Leighton Jones, Brownsburg, 41-2. Both his losses are out-of-state guys. Liam Begley decides to another guy that wrestled throughout middle school and decides to come out and makes his way to state.
I don't know if it was in middle school. I think did he wrestle? I know he wrestled as a kid, like as an elementary kid.
Oh, geez, that's interesting. You said his dad was a NCAA qualifier, right?
No, I think I don't think so. He wrestled at the Citadel. Okay. His dad's like a commander at the Army. Like, it's crazy, like how he's climbed in the I'm not even sure what he is. He's up there though.
Yeah. So
go ahead. I'm sorry.
Yeah, Josh Clark from New Haven, the Giant Killer, beat Brandon Villafuerte in the first round at Fort Wayne. Then won another one. He's fun to watch. He makes things up, and he had to take it easy against him. Then he has Jose Smith from Cathedral, tough sophomore, really getting on his getting better each week. So obviously Big Mo's probably working with him. Coach Seltzer always has some good big guys, so that should be a good Friday night match. So obviously Jones probably the class of the field in this quarter bracket.
Yeah, I know. Liam Bagley, 14 losses. He's wrestled some incredibly tough matches this year. I know. Like Crown Point wrestles a pretty tough schedule. He's wrestled, obviously Leighton Jones. I think he's lost to him twice. He lost to at Mount Carmel, who's a nationally ranked guy. I think he lost to another Ohio guy. He's lost to Theodore Sparks a couple times. Both him and I think Hosta Smith had to win like tough wrestle-offs to even make their lineup.
Yeah.
I don't know if Jack Reese ended up being injured at the end. I know he had a really good Al Smith. And I believe Hosta Smith lost to Jack Reese at the Al Smith. And I forgot the other. Cathedral had a pretty good heavyweight also that he had to beat to get in the lineup. Josh Clark, one of those guys, was not on the watch list. I'm not even gonna lie. All these other guys, Liam Bailey was ranked at some point. Obviously, Leighton's been one. Hosta Smith's been in the rankings. Josh Clark was not, but that was a pretty cool post where they said like, who had a better weekend, Dunn's headlock or Hosta Smith's arm roll?
Or Josh Clark's, yeah. But
yeah, Josh Clark. I'm sorry.
Begley's 11 of his 14 losses are to state qualifiers. The only ones are not was Brandon Vandermeulen from Michigan, Ryan Boersma from Illinois, who's top 6 or 7 in the country.
Yeah.
And then who's the other one? That Jack Milligan from Carmel. So these wrestlers are
also
good
pretty
kids.
tough.
Yeah.
Yeah. And his dad's an awesome guy. Wrestled at the Citadel. So when he was wrestling Hunter Whiteneck, they were like, yeah, like he's probably not. I was like, he has to wrestle that guy every day. Coach Bagley's 6'6",
Yeah.
And I seen Coach Bagley had a black eye, so I'm sure they're getting at it. They said Liam's actually the smallest of the 3 brothers. The older brother's at Butler playing football. I believe he's 6'4". Liam's, I think, 6 foot. And then they have a younger brother that plays basketball on Crown Point's team. I think he's like 6'4" also.
Jeez, the run of the litter.
Yeah. And their mom's not very big. She's tiny. She was like a cross-country coach, cross-country runner in college, I believe.
Speaking of runs of the litter, Hunter Whiteneck is no runt. His little brother he wrestled like 38 or 45?
32.
32.
Yeah.
Probably doesn't get fed. They don't have enough money. They don't have enough money to feed Hunter. This is gonna be a good Friday night match. Nate Johnson, Whiteneck. Johnson's a goer. I mean, he's gonna go out there. He's gonna battle. Center Grove guys. Coach Swain always has his guys ready. They battle. They're in your face. I mean, honestly, that's not who I wanted to draw if I was Whiteneck. 2-8. Then you got Big Mike Platinov from Westfield. He carries around a gallon of water. He must be thirsty a lot. Returning he was a 7th placer, and then Ian Clifford from Columbia City, who was a returning qualifier. So you got 3 guys with state experience right in that quarter bracket at heavyweight, which is very rare.
Yeah, it's interesting. I think Blaine's getting you some. That'd be a good one because Nate Johnson's a real good athlete. So is Hunter Whiteneck, and he's probably I would be willing to bet he's the biggest heavyweight there. I haven't seen everybody, but he's 6'6", 6'7". I know he had to come down, and they did the weight program to get him there in the right amount of time. He'll be playing football at the University of Illinois. The guy's, I think that he's pretty solid. He moves really well for a big guy. I think obviously he's a high-level tackle, but guys that go underneath him, if you choose down against him, he's really good in the top position. He pins guys. They carry their weight. So it'd be interesting to see the strategy, but he's tough. And I thought last year he had a good shot at getting a medal. He got upset Friday night. I think he got upset in the ticket round as a sophomore. So I think he's a guy that can go as far as he believes he can go. And then if he gets to the semis, it'd be interesting to see Leighton Jones, who I think is a defensive end now, and Hunter Whiteneck, who's an offensive tackle. So if you're talking big football guys.
Yeah.
Platinoff loves to wrestle that like 1-point match. That's his favorite, I believe. I think every one of his matches is like a 1-0, 2-1, 3-2 match. So I bet he has a ton of those. And he lost to Don Burgett a lot, who's not in the bracket anymore. So a lot of those losses went away.
Yeah. So, Mr. Blaine, I do not have connection, so I don't know what you're sending me. Send me a message on Facebook. Going down on the bottom half bracket, you got Marshall Fishback from Rochester. He only has 1 loss on the year. Not sure who to offhand. Hunter Branham, Branham. I can't even pronounce, from Frankton.
I think he lost to Micaiah Watts, right?
Yes. Yeah, Watts. That sounds right. I have it right here now.
5-4.
Then you got Ashton Hartwell, senior, Triple B trained, Trey White from Portage. A lot of interesting names, and it's going to be interesting to see who comes out of this. You got 10, 17, 7, and 15, and all have a couple losses here or there. So pretty wide open quarter bracket.
Yeah, Hunter Branham's had some really good wins too for Frankton. Fishback having an awesome year, took care of business. I thought Fort Wayne was pretty deep at heavyweight. For him to come out and win that, obviously, it's pretty impressive. So that'd be a tough one right off the bat. Ashton Hartwell, real good athlete. He's been in the mix. Trey White, another really good athlete, got a lot better this summer. Him and Corey Hill flip-flopped. I believe Corey Hill was at heavyweight last year, and Trey White was at 220. Came up. He looked like he filled in the weight pretty well. He moves really well. Got into the finals with White Nick. I think he got a takedown there. I think he got a pretty good blast double on him. That'll be a good Friday night matchup. Two guys that can move pretty well. And then Fishback and Brandon will be a really good Friday night matchup. All four of those guys rank pretty well.
Yeah, should be interesting. So he said that school and practice are canceled. If practice is canceled for tomorrow, you can't practice, then everyone gets a pound. So
Indiana upperweight, you want to see wrestle Christian Carroll from each decade? It's tough because I mean, to say that if he wins it, then I think that's a conversation. I know people were talking about him and Mason, but obviously we have a bigger sample size of what Mason's done. Yeah, it's hard.
So last quarter bracket, another good one here. Mekhi Watts, North Central, having a good senior year, returning state qualifier, right? Yep. He lost to, I believe, who did he wrestle first round last year? I'm trying to think. So Braden Jellison from Elkhart, having a good year, looking to be Elkhart's technically their first state placer since they kind of erased the history when they remerged. Teddy Sparks, Findlay Oiler. Sounds weird saying Oiler, but future Findlay Oiler. Jacob Johnson, Franklin Community, future Indy Greyhound. Should be a good Friday night match.
Mekhi Watts lost to Mo Amadande last year.
Okay.
Friday night.
Yes, that's a good one. It's one of those things. To us, the Maryville and Franklin, obviously Tante and Maldonado. If there's two teams that two coaches I know are going to have a heavyweight in 220 at state, it's going to be Maryville and Franklin. Those two always have good big guys. So two well-coached guys, and that's going to be an interesting Friday night match. But so you got 9-13, 14-5, another good quarter bracket.
Yeah, Jacob Johnson, real solid. You said Tante and David Maldonado have had a lot of success with big guys. You look back across, when Tante was at Perry Meridian, how good their heavyweights were. And, David, since he's been at Maryville, I think we said since 2002, I believe. Maybe 2001 he was at Maryville's first year, maybe the Bishop Knoll then. But he's had a really good run of heavyweights, starting with Dexter Larimore and going from there. Jellison had a really good Al Smith. I know he beat Theodore Sparks there. Kind of got him in the rankings. Mekhi Watts. That'll be a good one Friday night. I don't think that any of those, and it's weird that we're gonna have all these matches at 4 o'clock, right?
Oh, so it's gonna be 2 o'clock, 1 o'clock.
At 1 o'clock, so there's no excuse for people to leave, right?
Yeah,
they all get to stay and watch all these matches.
Then we can go have lunch together.
I think Watts' brother had a real good match where everyone left right before lunch, right before the break one year.
Yeah.
But overall, I think that's a really good weight, and I think the favorite is obviously Leighton Jones, but I think that could be one of those Chad Rugari who shows up and gets hot weights.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I think there's not anyone that's really had those dominant wins. Maybe White Nick's probably been the least challenged of the group. I know Leighton's had some tight ones. I know he wrestled Big Mike tight. There's not one that's there's no guy that's got everyone 20. I'm sure White Nick might be 27-0 with 27 falls. I'm not sure. I'd have to look at it.
Yeah. So no, that's a lot of good guys, and obviously Jones has had a couple close matches. He had a close one with Big Mike, and so he can, if you heavyweight can be one move. It can be a one takedown match, and if you're in that match with a one takedown match, you never know what's going to happen. So, should be some good matches there.
And if Brownsburg's going to be in the mix for the team title, they're going to need Leighton to make a run now that they kind of lost Miller, and he's a guy that can. I know leaving last year. I want to see him and Big Mo. Obviously, Big Mo graduated mid-year. He's going to go to college early. But I thought that would have been a really good match because those guys are both high-level athletes. I think I told you that last year.
Yeah.
That I think you told me Leighton's got the next two, and I was man, I want to see him and Big Mo go at it just because he wrestles really well. I think you told me that to the semis, and then Big Mo and Reeve was a good match in the finals, and you're like, that guy actually does stuff different.
Yeah.
It's hard to wrestle because he doesn't do it traditionally what people would do in those situations.
Yeah. It was much easier to wrestle Jones because he did normal things. You know, he had a consistent stance, had a consistent lead foot, you know, things like that you kind of look for. You're not trying to, you know, change your whole style, but you kind of want to make sure, you know, you're not, you know, Big Mo, it's like he just moved and then moved really fast. And next thing you know, he has your leg up in the air. And somehow Reeve got out of that. I don't know how.
Yeah, because they're both incredibly high-level athletes.
Yeah, both of them had legs up in the air and didn't finish at least once, so which is kind of crazy I mean, that was a good heavyweight match. I mean, people don't want to stick around for heavyweights. That was a real good heavyweight match. Probably one of the, obviously I'm very biased, but very high level, you know, attacks and stuff like that for big guys, good movement. So I'm
shocked that people don't stay for the Wardy Brown Mental Attitude Award.
Yeah. Yes.
That's when I know it's time to go.
You almost got kicked out the one year.
I know. I had security, man. I thought they were going to pull a gun on me. It was crazy.
Yeah, they're tasers. It was way past some of they were really upset because they missed lunch at Cracker Barrel because they were way past their bedtimes. So
yeah, man. I thought that guy was taking a little over the top, you know. But
yeah. So team race wise, it's gonna be, you know, I'm saying it's Crown Point's to lose. They're gonna have to, you know, just fall flat on their face. They got put in pretty solid spots overall. They have you know, Jesse's, you know, a pretty good lock, and then after that it's, you know, it's kind of interesting, you know, after that then you don't know, you know, where they have a couple of other guys that can be in the finals, but they could also get tripped up earlier in the tournament. So it's going to be interesting to see how everyone, you know, you come to wrestle, you got the split sessions, which is a little bit different. You know, it's state. Wild things happen on Friday, wild things happen Saturday morning, and you never know what's going to happen.
Well, I think just talking to, you know, when people are asking me, I think especially living in the region, you know, they're very much like, hey, Crown Point, you know, this is Crown Points to win. And they took the most guys, like you have the most shots at it, and they do have some guys that are hammers that you're expecting to be semifinalists or finalists. But, I mean, this is going to sound weird because it's probably never been said in the history of, since I've been around wrestling, which like 96, 97 when I started really paying attention. Like, people are kind of sleeping on Mater Dei a little bit. And I think that Mater Dei has some really good horses. They don't have the overall numbers, but they have some guys that can make a couple runs to the semis. And of course, use some big points. I mean, they have two guys that, you know, you think that are going to be under the lights. And then that Saturday morning match becomes huge with possibly Gendress and Schaefer. I mean, anything could happen, but I'm not counting out Ocampo or I'm not sure I can't remember who Schaefer has. But
Schaefer has, where is he at? I was just on there. He has Oliver Wilson from North Central,
who's incredibly tough also. But you know, you don't count those guys out or ladies out. But you know, also like that could be huge for the team race because if Schaefer gets that one, now you have another guy possibly going to the finals or maybe wrestling Rio in the semis. You got another semifinalist there. It could make a run. And Sang and Jackson, I mean, I don't know. I don't think Laporte and Crown Point hate each other. I know they're DAC rivals, but they're not like Minerva. Chesterton and Valpo, those guys are bigger rivals. But, you know, you're looking if Sang can knock off, you know, a champ there. Now you're looking at a couple more guys in the semis, and I think that they could make a run. I wouldn't be shocked. Obviously, Brownsburg is going to do well. They have a lot of good pieces. But I think Crown Point's I think Crown Point thought they were taking it home the last 2 years. You know, I thought they liked their draws the last 2 years. And it gets to state finals, you never know.
Yep. Yeah.
You know, this is where not that those guys are bad coaches. I'm not going to say that, but you see like the coaches come out, and I think the guys like, you know, Crown Point is right there. Like Schaefer and that staff is right there.
And oh my goodness. You there, Mike? Hello, Mike.
You could say it's, you know, big school, small school. I think that the coaches that get those guys to perform. We look at the Friday night percentages. You look at the state quarterfinal percentages is crazy. How do you get your guys ready for Saturday morning? And I know like there's not a bad seat at Gainbridge Field. Is that what it is? What is Gainbridge? Like a financial bro?
I think they're a financial company.
Is that what? There's not a bad seat in the house there, but like the closer you get to the floor, you see the guys that are ready to wrestle, whether it's Friday night or Saturday morning, and it's consistently like the guys that are ready are like the guys that are always in the team race. It's crazy to see that. Mm-hmm. You know, they have less. I mean, they have a lot of guys there, so I'm sure there's been some upsets, but you see less of those guys being upset in those matches. I mean, Brownsburg knocking off Kyson Montgomery, beating Roberson in the state quarterfinals 2 years in a row, kind of gave Brownsburg a better shot and gave guys opportunities to get in there, you know. Where Crown Point, I think, was thinking that he was going to be under the lights or in the semis.
Yeah, no, it's going to be interesting. That whole team race is going to be fun to watch. Obviously, there's a lot of things that can go on in that team race. That you never know. You never know what's going to happen, and you know it's going to be interesting.
Do you like do you like the system of having the individual tournament, the state finals determine the champ? How it is now with the Coaches Association having the team part?
I like the Coaches Association one. I think we have a little bit more freedom to do it a little bit better way. I mean, a couple years it's been, you know, are they really the best team because they have a handful of really good guys, but now it's starting to become, you know, the better teams are in the lead. So, you know, either way, I'm not too crazy. You know, I'm not upset about it. So
I think, and I don't know how the rest of the state took it. I know like the teams that were Center Grove back in the day really took it serious. Obviously, that was a huge event. That was awesome. We were always in pretty good events. Like I don't think anyone ever laid down we were part of the Highland Regional and then the Valparaiso Semi-State. So Jason's Day had hosted it every year. Those were always really good duels. Like back then, I don't know if the rest of the state was that way. I know that there were some times where people said that they didn't send full teams or if they thought they were going to lose. So, I mean, I understand like the thinking behind that, but it adds a layer to the tournament when you're crowning a champ at the end. And there has been some really good races. I don't want to see like not for those guys. And I like all those guys. All those guys are good. We like the Brownsburg guys. We like Modern Day guys. We like Crown Points guys. But I think like at the end of the day, like you don't want to see those guys having heart attacks going in the last matches and sweating. But, you know, I think as a fan, I think it's pretty cool. It's cool that, you know, Rochester was able to pull out a semi-state title going into the last match. Now, is Rochester the best dual team there? Obviously, you know, they were in the two-way with Brownsburg or with Belmont. Belmont was able to win that. But I think it's been pretty cool. Like, I think both of those events have been really cool. I like that the team part's been classed. I don't think I'd want a classed individual one. I don't know. I know like that's always a hot topic either across the board but
yeah,
I think
yeah. I
didn't even know I went to a small school until I was out of school. It makes sense. I mean, you went to Garrett. Did you know that you guys were at a disadvantage being in a smaller school or did you know when you were older?
More when I was older. It was, you know, kind of but I knew we were at a smaller school. I just didn't, you know, it's, you know, if you're asking a kid what they think about something, it's always kind of interesting what they, you know, well, yeah, just work harder, but at the same time, you don't understand exactly what that entails. So I want to get on to my rant about small school. I mean, I think at this point, it's not going to happen, even though I think a lot more people are, you know, saying, hey, it might be better for our sports. So, yeah, it's, yeah, I knew because we were like 2A in football. I knew we were smaller. I didn't understand the concept of, you know, who really were the bigger schools and, you know, are they supposed to be better than us at wrestling or are they supposed to be better? I mean, wrestling's a unique sport where you kind of take that ownership and you don't have to worry about, you know, having 10, 11, 20 other good athletes to make yourself better, even though it doesn't hurt by any means.
I went from a bigger community in Illinois. I didn't move here till I was in 8th grade. Batavia High School, where I wasn't in high school, I was in middle school. They had 1,900 kids. Like, so, and then when I came to Calumet, I just thought it was a smaller school, but I never thought about it as a small school. And, Coach Watkins never really pushed that idea. It wasn't until I was out of school and I was talking to somebody else about wrestling. Like, yeah, you guys always did really well for a small school. And I was like, what are you talking about? I think, I don't know budgetary stuff, but I think, I think what Tony Abbott's doing at Cowan is really impressive. I think that's amazing. And I think he's done it in two different, where he was at Muncie Southside and they did it really well before they shut that down. Mm-hmm. What he's doing at Cowan's really good. I don't know. I like it. I'm not like overly, I know we were talking about off the air a little bit. I'm not like, hey, we have to keep everything because it's traditional and I don't want to change everything. I like the idea that it's one. I know it's tough because the bigger teams do tend to have more representation there. But I also really like the way that the IHSWCA does the team state, and just being at the Coliseum the couple times I went and seeing like the way that the 1A and the 2A brought fans was always really cool because dude, those guys support it almost as much, if not more, than the 4As, or at that time it was 3A.
Yeah, definitely. Those small schools bring a lot of teams, and when they originally were just going to go to 8 teams, those people made a big stink, and it was good to see that that the Coach Association listened and said, hey, you guys are right. Let's do this the right way, and that's what I like having about the Coaches Association running it. They can do things their own way, and make modifications. They don't have to go through committees and all the hierarchy of making a proposal and doing all that kind of bureaucratical stuff that is no fun to do. That's why I like working for a small company. If you want something, you go to your boss, and his office is 10 feet away, and hey, can I get this? Yeah, okay. That kind of stuff. It's much easier when you're small like that, and you don't have to go through all that red tape to get stuff done.
And I think we talked about that before also. Like, it was cool that they were able to do that. And, this week, I think everyone's kind of giving the IHSA a hard time. It's the time to do it. That's what everyone likes to do at this point of year. Yeah. But I don't think overall they do a bad job. Obviously, there's a lot of things that we would want to change, but they're not going to change everything all the time. But I like that the IHSA did, or IHWCA did do that. Like, hey, you're right. Cool. We'll split it. These guys get 8. You guys get 12. I thought that was awesome. And like I said, I think I said it last week. With the girls tournament, if we want wrestlebacks, let's show them that it can work with the female championships. There was something that Coach Falkins, Mr. Robert Falkins said on the Dane and Rex show that he's like, yeah, if we have a girls thing, then the girls can't compete, which takes away kind of what Ocampo and they can't compete with the boys. Like, if we have a set girls wrestling and a set boys wrestling, you don't have that crossover anymore. Yeah. I don't know if that's one size fits all or what, but I think it's cool that those guys are able to compete, and obviously they've done well. Like, we had 2 Olympians that both competed with the boys. One was semi-state qualifier, one was a state qualifier. We've had several other female competitors that have done really well.
Yeah.
I don't know if there's a right or wrong answer to that.
Yeah, I'd say that. Yeah, I don't. That'd be interesting. Obviously, that's one thing I've heard him say before about it, and it's one of those things that we're like, what do we? We can work with that. I mean, I think we can make some modifications and say, hey, I'd hate to have it just be all girls versus all girls when they can wrestle, and they've been proven that it's fine to wrestle each other. So, I guess we'll see what happens coming up, and if the vote goes through and everything. So, and hopefully there's a good proposal from the Coaches Association that can say, put the writing in there that the girls can wrestle some of the boys. I mean, it's happened millions of times before. So, yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. So, anyway, I'm trying to fix these brackets and get them up. Hence why I've been a little bit spacey. Okay, so
yeah.
What else do we want to talk about? We got some time.
Yeah, I think we need restaurant recommendations now. I see someone posted that. I think always we get to this point in of the year, and it's gone so fast, and it's been a crazy year across the board. And it always goes so fast, man. At the end of the year, you're like, wow, I feel like we just started,
Yeah.
I think it's been really cool. We appreciate everyone that tunes in. You see a lot of the same names in the chat, and then a lot of people that are watching. You see them jumping on it if they're not in the chat. I always think that's really cool, and I always said, like, when Joe kind of like threw this out there originally, it was me, you, and Nick. Yeah. I remember telling Kim, I was like, we're gonna do this like podcast, and I don't know, like, who's gonna watch it? Like, who would even like watch it? And we've had a good amount of people tune in and appreciate it, man. We really do. We talk about it all the time that, how crazy it is that, people like to talk wrestling and get on here, and obviously we have some interaction with the comments. Because I have ADD and I can't really always focus really well, but I think that's part of what makes it. And I know Joe sometimes throws out hey, this is what we're gonna go, like, line by line, and then it never really works like that. But I think it's pretty cool, and I appreciate everyone that watches the show, visits the site, bought the silverback. I know that was something I was worried about. Like, we had a meeting last year after the season, and I was like, I don't know, man. I don't want to run people off. I love the interactions we have, and the more you think about it, like, $10 isn't anything. And I would love to do more live meets and more coverage, which is cool. It's homecoming weekend essentially, right? Yeah. Everyone gets to go to Banker's Life. We had an off year last year where it was kind of weird, or Gamebridge Fieldhouse now, yeah, or Conseco Fieldhouse, or Market Square Arena, whatever you want to call it. Or Southport High School. But it's just cool. We're at that point, and now you get to just go there and enjoy. If you guys see us out, always say hi. If we don't know who you are, like, let us know your screen name, because a lot of times that's how people introduce themselves. Hey, I'm Y2CJ. I'm on the rise 219. Like, oh man, yeah. It's just really cool. Like, it's always awesome to see it, and I think that's always been like the coolest thing about this is like the interaction. And even today, you got like a really cool message about like a kid that like loves what we do and like is interested in like what we're doing and kind of goes that route and wants to get on during the off season. And I was like, cool, let's find him and put him on. Let's do a Twitter or a Facebook Live from the state finals. Have him come down to where we're sitting. Yeah, and I think that's cool, man. Like, it's interesting.
Yeah, it's I always like, wonder the impact of, starting this. I mean, you were there from the beginning too, and it's like when starting everything and like where I didn't expect to even come close to what we were doing here now, and it's kind of crazy, like the bracket reveal show. People are like, they're using, Mike Gable's using our rankings and stuff and saying, hey, this guy's ranked this, you can't really just go off like, oh, this guy has a 35-6 record. That's gonna be good. No, I mean, adding some verification that, hey, this is a two highly ranked guys, a 5 and a 6. It's gonna be a good Friday night match, and that's tough for Coach Gable, I know, to do, because he only has a very small amount of time to get prepared, and he has to put the rankings on get the brackets and go through our rankings and write that stuff down, because he doesn't have our rankings or brackets, unfortunately, made at that time. So it's pretty neat to see where the website's gone, and the recognition that we do. But it's kind of it's a hobby. It's we love the sport and just have fun doing it. So it's crazy.
I think obviously, like, you get a ton of comments every year about just the stuff, and like you said, like, who would have known? Like, you got a guy like Mike Gable. Like, we did the show with Dane last year when Dane's doing a show with Rex, and it's getting a ton of views. And I listen on the podcast all the time. And he's like, hey, come up, man. You'll go on right before Coach Gable. And I'm thinking, like this dude's a legend. Like, I was like nervous. I don't generally get nervous a ton. Like, obviously, we do this, and I speak off. There's no script. We don't script anything. This is all like straight. this is straight ramble, right?
Yes.
And
Yes.
I told Kim, I'm like, what if he doesn't like what I say, or what if he this is like a dude that I look like. I'm from the north and he's from the way south, and what he put together in the late 90s, early 2000s or through the whole 90s and 2000s was amazing. And like the first thing he says, like, I love everything you guys do with IndianaMat. And I was just like shocked, caught me off guard, didn't have anything to say.
Yeah.
I was like, yeah, I love what you guys did in the 90s when you were winning all that stuff too.
Yeah. Yeah. No.
But it's amazing. It's really cool. It really is. And I think that the site has been like a cool vessel to bring the state even closer. It's always been pretty close. We have a pretty unique situation with like ISWA and building teams that way. And now at the site, it just feels like, you'll see all these guys that are in the comment section this weekend. You can give them a hard time. Like, how often are you really seeing Cook and Johansson? Maybe twice a year.
Too much.
And then you go, then you go to the state finals, you get to see those guys, and it's like you guys are, like buddies. You see them all the time. I'll be out Saturday night because I don't have any kid responsibilities that weekend, and I'll be doing what I do out on the streets. Like, that's how I first met Nick Krause, asking me about how the team state formula works. And I'm not going to lie, I was less than 100%. And I was trying to tell him, and like, I don't know if he could tell, but I really had no clue. I just made some stuff up. So
I forgot to mention my background. I found the picture. You got our guy, wrong one. Quinn Harris right there. You got Ben Kaufman, and then you got Garrett Pepple right there behind me. They, notice two of them are wearing IndianaMat shirts too. I had to bribe them, but hey, it worked.
Come on, those are original. Those are OG IndianaMat shirts.
Yeah, that's I think second or third year. That's the original. That's the old school gorilla on there. So yeah, it's crazy to just think of how the impact the websites had on the state, and you're like, no one listens to this, and then people come up and they like I think I should know them, but they watch us every week, and it's like, I don't see you, you see me, and I'm horrible with names anyway, and I mean, I faces out like I know that guy, but I couldn't tell you his name to save my life. And
I told you we go to she's doing her PT right now from the accident, and she's doing it with Matt Gentry, he's an Olympian. He's 2-time Olympian. He was fifth at the Olympics. I was at the Olympics where he wrestled Jordan Burrow and then got brought back in. And then in the bronze medal match, he lost to Dennis Sardouche, like two all-time greats. He's an NCAA champion. He beat Jake Percival for an NCAA title. And the woman that works there, her daughter wrestled at Indiana Christian, and I knew it was because obviously I follow the women's wrestling. And she's like, that voice, I know it. And I'm thinking, like, that guy's a legend, man. Like, I was, like, excited to meet him. And she was excited. And their daughter came in. I got to meet her. And it was just, like, it's crazy how the sport is, like, a small world like that. Like, you literally have an Olympic champion there,
Yeah. Yeah. No, it's crazy to think of the random comments people get. And, like, I know one of my friends, his wife was, I don't even know how it came up, but she was working with a doctor, and he's like, oh yeah, I get on IndianaMat all the time, that stuff. And she's like, I had to pass that along to you because, it's somehow they're getting talk about wrestling, and he's like, oh yeah. And she's like, yeah, I know who runs that, And it's crazy to think the impact and obviously the traffic and people that come to the site, especially the last couple of weeks. And I don't know, it's just, to me,
and I think even like some of the posters, like you could say, hey, like FC fighter, and they're like, oh man, like I love Newcastle, and it'd just be random. And and like Johnny's a good dude. The different people. Before like Johansson was in here, you could be like Brick for 6, and he'd be like, like, oh man, that guy's a big Hober guy. I know it. And I always thought that was real cool, man. Like even like the message board, like you start getting those guys, and I'm glad that the people stay in it, like you don't always lose, like every now and then, like people fade a little bit. Like obviously like Carl Hungus was a big one. Chad was big when it started, and he's kind of faded from the side a little bit, and different screen names. But a lot of those guys, continue to go on. I like when the county stuff starts going on. I like Garcia. I think Garcia is good. He brings good content, and those guys, and it creates like a level of like rivalry between some of those programs. But every now and then you'll see like Corey Kavanaugh's dad jump on there, and like Corey's like a senior now, right? Like he hasn't wrestled in years, and just jump on. Yeah, senior in college.
Yeah. So yeah, it's gonna be it's always fun, and we'll be out. I don't know, maybe I'll come out, maybe I'll get permission to go out, or we'll be staying in the same hotel. We're not gonna tell us yet. We gotta have security, so should be. I mean, it's gonna be a good time. We might have a couple extra tickets, so if you're interested, maybe you inquire. We're still trying to figure out. We got a couple people that aren't able to come right now, so I might have a couple tickets for Friday. You can sit beside at least Mike. I don't know if I might come up there later. It's kind of weird. Do I get a ticket? Do I get a press pass? Do I do this? So I got all three. So I'm going to be doing everything. So
yeah, Nick's still around. Nick went to Mount Carmel with us.
Yeah.
Just kind of laying low. He's becoming a comedian, I think.
Yeah, check out the around the the improv in North Indy area. I think they're getting started to back up after COVID. So it should be, yeah, Nick's around. We had a good time with him at the on the way to and from Mount Carmel. We cultured him a little bit.
Yeah, he there's a rumor he might be getting into coaching on the secret low. We don't know yet, but we're pushing in that direction. Right now we don't have any Saturday tickets. Just Friday, man. I told Joe he should raffle them off and give an IndianaMat shirt some of these stickers.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I'll bring a little bit of swag. I won't bring too much. I try not to, because I try to focus on coaching. Hopefully, I'm coaching late into Saturday again, and good things happen then. So, yeah. So Saturday they don't go on sale till 10 p.m. p.m. I'm pretty positive it's p.m. because the second session, the third session doesn't start till. Starts later than 10 a.m. So that's when I think I'm guessing they're gonna let the parents of the winners get first dibs on the tickets, which I think is a great idea. And then it's the masses. So I think we're gonna try to get a few tickets and have some fun on Saturday. So
yeah, always one of the best shows, man. I don't go to a lot of Indiana State Championships. And by a lot, I mean 0. But I would be one of that wrestling probably does one of the better shows.
Yep.
Just it feels man, when they kill the light Saturday night, you get the goosebumps. It's exciting.
Yes, it is. It's gonna be a great weekend of wrestling, and a lot of great kids. Good luck to everyone. Safe travels. I know it's supposed to start snowing a little bit tomorrow night. Schools are already canceling.
I think we had rain.
Someone needs to take one for the team and not practice tomorrow, so everyone gets a pound. Who's gonna be the hero? Be the hero.
Yeah, I think the people that do get to go, and I think there's still a lot of seats available, I'm sure. That's how you meet people, man. If you get a single seat, man, that's how you meet people. That's how I met Joe Butler.
Nice.
Sat next to him, and he told me his kid was going to be good, and I was like, oh, okay, cool. I believe you. And then I was like, and then he ended up being good. Good article about Joey today.
Yep, he likes the garden.
I'm probably going to ask him. I'm going to ask him about the pH levels of my soil out here. Kim keeps killing all of our flowers.
You don't hear about gardening in our articles very often. So had some very good articles so far this year. We got probably 2 more coming up this week, and it's always fun to look at those articles. And I know we'll be back next week. Not sure the date or time. Usually we try to do a little bit of a recap and then announce the awards, but maybe we'll go 2 next week. I don't know what we'll do. We don't plan things. I don't know if people understand. We don't plan things very often.
Sometimes Joe texts me and I'm like, I'm so sleepy. Joe, I'm eating spaghetti. I can't do it right now. Yes. So that's why we're always late. That's what happened tonight. We were supposed to go on at 8 o'clock, and I said, hey man, I'm eating right now. Can I just finish the spaghetti? I think, if you're there Saturday, you're going to get to see history, man. Possibly Jesse Mendez going for 4. I don't know. It's debatable, but that could be the best career in Indiana history. Mm-hmm. You don't know what he's going to do in college, but he's had some, college success. Zeke Seltzer is going for 3. That could be, that's history. Yep. And someone's going to surprise you. Someone's going to come out of the blue and make a run. And weirdly, even when that happens, someone always has that guy in the pick'ems.
Yeah.
Someone has a pick right now that's gonna surprise everybody Saturday night. I heard, DC coach. You know, he got a different pick at 170 than the number one guy, and I think that's like the coolest part. So I think when people see me, they're like, oh man, your rankings didn't hold up. I was like, man, I'm a fan first. I love the upset. I love those exciting matches. I'll be there yelling too for the number 25 guy to beat the number one guy just as loud as I would for the number one guy the other way, you know?
Yeah, it's very interesting looking at the picks, who's picking who, and, the strings of, guys that are, looking at 106 right now, got about 49 people entered. I know we're probably getting another 30 or 40 people enter. I'm not going to enter till tomorrow. Usually
Yeah, no way, man.
Yeah.
Brackets change. I lost McBee and all those guys when the bracket changed.
Yeah. That's interesting. Number one there. Some people only pick one person in the whole thing, and just to pick a champ. Actually, I think they just pick champs. That's it.
And my guy Triple B's at the hospital.
Yep. Say some prayers for him. Hopefully he's getting better. So he was going to be on tonight. They won't let him be on, I guess. Probably doesn't have good internet, so maybe we'll bring him on next week when we.
That's what I had to call Dane from the hospital. I'm like, hey man, I'm supposed to do the high school wrestling wiki over Thanksgiving. I was like, I'm not making it, man. I'm sorry. I'm gonna have to cancel. I'll take a rain check.
Yeah.
Yeah. Prayers for Dustin, man. Hopefully you feel better, big guy. He's a great dude, man.
Yep.
One of the best.
Yep. Yes, he is. So, I guess we're gonna wrap it up. Good luck, safe travels, everyone. We'll see you guys this weekend, and have some fun. It's gonna be, unfortunately, it's the end of the season, but we still have a lot of wrestling to do. So it'll be a fun weekend, and we'll see you guys this weekend.